Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is a topic of why do humans keep on screwing everything up? So, when it comes to why do human beings keep on screwing everything up, and just in general, for that matter, ruining everything, what I'm referring to is when it comes to how we run this world, whether it comes to how we run our civilizations, to even how we take care of nature and stuff, we have a habit in general as a species of screwing everything up. Okay. And when it comes to the reason why us human beings are so good at screwing everything up, is it comes down to one specific reason. We are horrible in general at being able to see the bigger picture. Okay. And that's exactly the reason why we are so good at fucking everything up we touch, whether it could be for ourselves or even for nature in general. So now let me explain, okay? Because when it comes to this whole topic of not seeing the bigger picture, the truth of the matter is about this world is that everything in the world is interconnected in some sort of way, okay? Just like if you run a civilization, if you actually look at it from a very um analytical perspective, a very detailed perspective, you realize everything is interconnected. Everything from you know from how food is distributed, to of course you know keeping everybody safe, and healthy by having a hospital, to having to having, of course, maybe a government palace where people can go to even just simply straight up, for that matter, you know, even, of course, no surprise, even just simply having a place that can, of course, manage human sewage, when we go to the bathroom and stuff. The truth of the matter is, human beings are actually really good. I mean, at not seeing a bigger picture. Because when you look at the example I gave just now, everything is interconnected. But if you actually speak to most people about like how everything works and stuff, and they don't have to be a master at understanding anything, but when it comes to understanding like just the basics of common sense of how everything's connected, most people say, "Oh, I don't understand that. I don't understand why they need to do this. I don't understand why they need to do that." And then the end of the day, guess what? No surprise. You can see why the world is in a state of the way it is. And that's the truth of the matter about the world. People do not see the bigger picture and how everything is interconnected. And even when you look at a political system, you can see and a perfect example of that. Because you have one political party that focuses on things that make sense for this particular situation, and you have another political party that focuses on things that make sense in this situation. Like for example, when it comes to politics, you have the left wing party that focuses on issues like, for example, racism, which of course is not good, as well as issues like how can we help take care of the environment, all that type of stuff. While on the other side, the right wing side, for that matter, to be quite honest with you, you hear a different things that also matter, like for example personal protection, like making sure people can defend themselves, which is important. We have a lot of very bad people in the world. To, of course, having moral standards, like not living in a world where everyone just does whatever the fuck they want to do, such as the LGBTQ plus community, not being able to force their opinions on other people, and so on and so forth. Like shit like that is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Because for the world to function and everything to function, everything is all interconnected, okay, in some way, shape, or form, okay? There's a basic thing what I refer to as, you know, the common good or a common logic or something, a common system that everybody, if it's done well, can actually agree that this is what needs to be done to make everything in the world actually not suck. But the thing about the world we live in, the world is not designed to be that way, okay? And it's not designed to be that way because people just don't understand the bigger picture, okay? It's just like, look at all the fundamental things we need in the world, okay? Whether it comes down to medicine, making sure there's enough money around, uh, you know, um, taking care of nature because we need nature, to other things as well, like as well, like for example, we need a military to protect us, for that matter, to things like we need to actually have good quality entertainment to make the world actually enjoyable and not boring and redundant, all the things you can pretty much imagine. The truth of the matter is, when you actually look at the world, people don't even understand that idea, how everything is interconnected in one way. They only focus on particular subjects that they care about, and when it comes to other things, they couldn't give a damn or care less. And that's stupid. And that's the reason why human beings always screw everything up. Because instead of focusing on making sure everything works in this particular angle, we have people who only focus on this particular issue. Okay. So in the case of politics, for example, they'll vote in someone who only focuses on this issue, and they might help, of course, make things better for that particular issue, like, for example, working on the economy and this and that. But when it comes to taking care of the environment, they could care less. The next thing you know, the environment gets in a really bad state, to the point that we're having more natural disasters, and it's just screwing everything up, for that matter. And next thing you know, someone votes someone new in, who, of course, cares about the environment a lot, but is terrible at understanding economics and stuff like that, so the economy kind of goes down a bit, you know, and but nature is, of course, doing well. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say here. If you have people who only focus on a certain specific perspective of how the world works, when everything's all interconnected, then you can't be surprised when you find out that people are going to find a way to fuck up everything. And that's why human history sucks so freaking much. Even when you look in the past, okay, for it, okay? Just like you have civilizations who were powerful and had all this power and stuff, and they just collapse. And just in general, for everything you look at in human history, everything is that way. I think is the reason why everything fucking sucks throughout most of human history. Why we've always constantly had problems. Why so many civilizations kept on collapsing. Why we had so many famines. We had so many issues, and even just straight up down to the fact of why we had so many. Of course, no surprise, so much misery in the world, because human beings are terrible at understanding balance. In all honesty, understanding everything, even the belief systems and ideology of the world, whether it could be Buddhism, it doesn't matter what sect of Buddhism it's the same thing, whether it's Buddhism, Taoism, you know, um, Islam, Christianity, they always teach you to see the world a certain particular way, but they overlook other things that actually don't really work in the world. Just like Buddhism. I'll use Buddhism as a perfect example, okay? It's just like Buddhism, okay? Buddhism pretty much teaches you to, aside from not really caring from her not wanting to care for luxury goods, which is actually stupid, and actually helps develop nations and develop them. But anyway, aside from that, one thing Buddhism teaches you, back to what I was saying, is it teaches you to absolutely care, to not to have a very non-violent way of thinking, to absolutely not endow violence, or not think about violence, and to even just straight up despise violence, for that matter, okay? And just in general, for that matter, not to care about violence or something, and to always seek peace and reconciliation, forgiveness, yada yada yada. But in the real world, sometimes you have to understand that that's just not realistic, especially when we're talking about a whole collection of people. Okay? Some people cannot handle disrespect as well as others. Some people will have to defend themselves. And Buddhism, even though it does apparently teach people that you can defend yourself if you absolutely have to, at the same time, the problem is that it's kind of vague for it, and some of it does come off as, no, it's wrong to defend yourself. You should always walk away no matter what, even when someone wants to start a fight with you, which is so stupid. And it just creates a parallel. On one hand, if I don't defend myself, then I'm going to get beaten up. But on the other hand, if I defend myself, that I'm a bad person. And it creates a lot of conflicts and a lot of ways of thinking that screw everything up. And that's what I'm trying to say about humanity. And that's why everything we do and everywhere we go, we always screw everything up. Instead of just realizing there's just fundamental principles for how the world works, and will always be those same principles. Just like some people say we should live in a world full of peace. Those are the same people would probably say throw all guns in a river. What happens when something happens? Who's going to defend people then? Or on the other hand, you have people who only care about war. What happens when there's no war? Then people don't know what the fuck to do, and people might just start killing each other for the sake of it, for fun. And that's exactly right there. Another example of what I mean by humans cannot see the bigger picture. There is no one way of looking at life. Everything is all interconnected, and that is the truth of the matter. And as long as we don't understand that, we're going to continue to screw everything up. And this is my video, and this is all I have to say, and I'm out. Bye.